Good afternoon, good evening. It's about 6:21 p.m. Eastern Time, and I am here to talk to you about um, Love and Marriage Huntsville, guys. So let's get right into it. Welcome to Vlog Media Breeze. As you can see in the lower left-hand corner, VMB. That's what that stands for. I got that actually from someone who was in my chat one day. I was like, I'm going to start using that. And I just sent in the paperwork for my LLC on it, as well as some other things. I'm going to do some things outside of YouTube. And my son is actually building me. I was listening to Tasha K, and her husband is building her an app. So my son and my son does that as well. He is a computer scientist. So I'm going to have him do that for me as well, because he is the one who lets me know what's going on my channel sometimes. That's how I know Google is the one who shows up here every time. They are following me around everything that I do. So, but that's okay. I got paperwork coming their way. Let's go get right into it. This is Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 3, Episode 11. They named it, I Now Pronounce You Depressed. And there's a lot to unpack here, okay? The scene opens up with Maurice and Kimmy. They are all still at the house on vacation, well, on the trip to Vegas. And Kimmy asked Maurice, "Where did you all go?" And then Maurice kind of beats around the bush with her. And so production shows they go right into a clip of where the men were. And we see that they were at, a Vegas bar. In fact, they look like they were having more fun than the ladies. The ladies look like they went to some kind of sidekick. And where the men were, there were women dancing on stage. There were cigars. There were a lot of other people around. So it looks like they had more fun in Vegas than the ladies. Um, at any rate, Kimmy starts to tell Maurice about the ladies' night out, the girls' night out. And she talks to him about how Destiny and what's the other lady's name, Tiffany, were arguing the whole way in the the limousine or whatever you call that bus that takes them back to the house. And Maurice is like, did they were going at it like the whole time? And Kimmy said, yeah. So you all, there was a lot going on that we did not get to see between Destiny and Tiffany. And I don't know who Tiffany thinks she is, but we'll get into it, okay? Uh, Next, they show Tiffany and Lewis. And Tiffany is talking to Lewis about Destiny. And she tells Lewis that Destiny threatened to drag her through the parking lot. Oh my goodness, you guys. There was a lot going on that we didn't get to see in this episode, because I did hear Destiny say, listen, you can get drug in all three of those cities, right? But she was on her way out the door. So it sounds like a lot more took place in the vehicle on the way home. I mean, on the way back to the house that they're staying at, the bed and breakfast, whatever you call that. Um, so the next scene, Mel and Destiny meet up to talk about Destiny and Tiffany's relationship. And Mel tells her she just wanted to check in with her, because she doesn't know what's going on between Destiny and Tiffany. She wants to see, does Destiny really like Tiffany? And, at first, whenever they showed Mel and Destiny sitting at the table, I almost forgot that they were in Vegas, because I was sitting there looking at the background and I saw this brick background. I was like, or this concrete like background. And I thought, where are they meeting? Where are they? Are they at Mel's house? And I almost forgot where they were. Then I had to remember, oh, they are all still at this location in Vegas, and they are probably meeting on site there. So I want to talk to you guys about Mel and Destiny and their discussion, because a lot of times we do harbor things. We harbor bad energy. If someone does something to us, sometimes we will harbor that energy. And that's really what's going on with Destiny here. And Mel doesn't get it. And I believe that Mel really doesn't want to get it because Mel, you guys, doesn't like Destiny. If anything that we are witnessing on Love and Marriage Huntsville is true about their relationship, it is Mel's nonverbals tell me she does not like Destiny. That's why, and what's happening is she doesn't like her so much to the point that it's being exposed in how she treats her. And I am not even sure if Mel is aware of it. Because why would Mel not recognize the fact that, um, okay, the origin of the beef between Destiny and Tiffany lies at Destiny's birthday party. Destiny was celebrating her birthday, and Tiffany ruined that for her. And Destiny is harboring that energy, as some of us do, a lot of us do. And I would and the really bad part is Tiffany is not taking any ownership in how she ruined someone's birthday party that she doesn't even know, because she didn't know Destiny. And remember, Destiny was excited to see her. She was like, "Oh, what haven't I met you, at her party?" And so what happened was, as we move forward, Tiffany continues to lack the elegance of being able to read a room. She's so low class. Tiffany is low class. I don't care if she does work for the chamber in Huntsville. If this is what the chamber in Huntsville does, if this is who they have employed, uh, uh, I cannot imagine how any teamwork is getting done. I can't imagine how anything positive is getting done because Tiffany is not positive. You guys, I can't take her. Mel never supported Destiny from the beginning. And in her confessional, she says that she thinks that Destiny might be jealous of her relationship with Tiffany. Mel, Destiny is not jealous of your relationship with Tiffany at all. Destiny is not jealous of your relationship with Tiffany. Um, so the next scene, they show Tiffany and Lewis again. And I really don't want to cover Tiffany and Lewis scenes, but there are some things to unpack here that involve these scenes. So that's what I'm going to do. I really would love for Tiffany and Lewis not to come back next season. I would like for them to find a new couple, but I know they are going to come back next season because Melody loves Tiffany. She really likes Tiffany, and Melody is an executive producer. So there you have it. So Tiffany, in Tiffany and Lewis's room, Tiffany is telling Lewis about her interaction with Destiny. She's continuing to talk about that. And she is giving him so much information. I'm going to skip over a lot of it because I want to get to the point that I want to make in this scene, which is Lewis says to Tiffany, don't ever change. You have a great personality and a great heart. If Tiffany has a great personality and a great heart, where is it? Please show it to us. I haven't seen it. She keeps butting in. When you see someone butting in everyone else's business on these shows, that means they have a lot to hide. I want Tiffany and Lewis, even if Mel brings them back next season, and for you all who listen to this channel, I would like for you to demand of Mel that Tiffany and Lewis talk about their business. I want to know about their relationship with their exes. I want to know about whenever because Tiffany said in a confessional, the good thing about having a great co-parenting relationship is there's never any issue when you need to get a babysitter or get your ex to watch the children. So we want to see that happen. I we want to hear the conversations you have with your exes when you are leaving the children. We want to know the background of what caused Tiffany's divorce and what caused Lewis's divorce. And if they were cheating with each other and got together, and that was the breakup of their previous marriages. Tiffany goes on to tell Lewis, Destiny does not want to share Mel's friendship with me. Or maybe she just has it out for me. No, Tiffany, you don't know how to read a room. You are not elegant. You have no class. You're rude. You talk about other people's business. You bring up information in a setting where that information is not befitting the setting. You have no elegance to you at all. Zero. And that's what the issue is. Destiny is quite elegant, and she has picked up on that with you. She's a level above you, maybe even a couple. Okay? And that's that right there. So they go back to Mel and Destiny sitting outside talking. Mel tells Destiny that Destiny is behaving out of a different character than she typically does. And she's trying to bring that to Destiny's attention whenever Destiny thinks that Mel is coming up against her. And Destiny says, "Well, that's not how it's coming out." And then Mel says, "Well, I'm sorry if it comes across that way." Listen to those words. "I'm sorry if it comes across that way." You guys, there are some apologies you can just keep to yourself. If people cannot own what it is that they are doing, if they cannot recognize in their conscience that that's what they are doing and that it is wrong, then don't apologize to me. It's worthless. Don't apologize to me if you don't know what you're doing. And when Mel said, "I'm sorry if it comes across that way," that is a weak apology. That apology is so weak because she hasn't taken ownership for what she has done to Destiny. She's just saying it's the same thing as if someone says, "Well, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way." Don't apologize for my feelings. This is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm feeling. I don't need you to apologize for my feelings. These are my feelings and I own them. Don't tell me you apologize to me for how I'm feeling. That's a weak apology. That's one you can definitely keep to yourself. Mel is a gaslighter. Everything that Destiny said at that table, she kept putting it back on Destiny. At first, Destiny said, you know, that Tiffany, she has a lot to say. And Mel goes, "Oh, and you do too." And then she reaches across the table trying to shake Destiny's hand. Hey, you too. Listen, Destiny, Mel does not like you. Mel, and I love Melody. That's my girl. I love her. I love her song. You guys, her song is the bomb. The video is really good. It's stellar. It's right up there with any other video that's being produced today. So I'm a Mel fan. However, just because I'm a Mel fan doesn't mean I'm not going to call her out. Mel does not like this Destiny. If the Love and Marriage Huntsville episodes that I'm watching are true, Mel does not like Destiny. Her actions are saying, "I don't like you." That is why she's not taking Destiny's side. And people, you need to be able to pick up on these things. These things happen in real life. If a person is treating you in a cognitively dissonant manner, they don't like you. And we have all had friends like that. I know in college, I was in a circle of friends, and I didn't realize until I graduated, the girl didn't like me. We ate out together, we partied together, we did a lot of things together. And then I learned, I started really picking up on things because, when you go to college, you do a lot of reading, you get educated, and you start to analyze things. You have this critical analysis of everything. And I started to do that with the relationship. And I had to say, this person just doesn't like me. There's no way. I know we do things together. I know we're good friends. We've gone on double dates. We do all these things, but this person doesn't like me. Destiny, Mel does not like you. I want to pause real quickly and say, you guys get in the comments and let me know what you think about Mel and Destiny's relationship. Also, I want to share with you one of the things I have learned not to do is look at other reviews before I give my own review. And then after I give my review, I go in and I'll look at Miss Misha IMO, I'll look at Bondi Blue, I look at Alex something TV that I just started picking up on. And this is for housewives things. There are other shows I look at that are not related to housewives. Like there's another person, I forgot her name, but she does a lot of business advice. I listen to her with a grain of salt, but I listen to her. Um, who else did I listen to after this? Oh, Kempire, Kempire Daily. I listen to him. So those are mainly the people I listen. Oh, oh no. There's a new one I started listening to a couple of weeks ago, and her name is Contrary Canary. Love her reviews. Love them. Okay. And eh, I've learned to wait until after I do my own review, and then I go listen to theirs because I want to have an objective thought process, and I want this review to be about my thought process and also my subscribers' thought process. So get down in the comments and tell me what you think of Mel and Destiny's relationship. Do you agree with me that Mel really does not like Destiny as a friend? Next scene is Tisha and Marsau. They are back in the room, and Tisha and Marsau are talking about Louis and Tiffany's conversation because remember, Tiffany brought Tisha some information that Louis had shared with Tiffany that Marceau said to the fellas. Tiffany had told her that Marceau thinks that Tisha is insecure. So now Tisha and Marceau are having their pillow talk, and Tisha brings this out to Marceau. And Marceau just distracts from it, you all. He distracts from it. Marceau has brainwashed Tisha because every statement that Tisha made while they were in their pillow talk, he cut it down. He had an antagonizing comeback to everything that Tisha brought up in their relationship. And these are things in their marital relationship that really concerns his wife. And he is cutting them down, you guys. He has brainwashed her to the T that you see by the end of the conversation. Tisha actually thinks that he made some good pointers. Tisha actually thinks that Marceau, she's glad that they had the conversation. I am Marceau has brainwashed this beautiful woman. Remember in the last episode when Marceau said, when he first met Tisha, she looked like she owned the world. She had, she was very confident. We all do that as women. It's a front. It's a front, guys. And sometimes with the guys, it's a front. With the men, it's a front. Whenever we finally get comfortable with our significant other, when we are finally married to our husband, we want to be able to put our guard down. All of that stuff that you see us walking across campus looking like we're on top of the world, when we get behind closed doors, the wall comes down. And we want the wall to come down. We want to be able to be vulnerable with our husbands. And that's what happened to Tisha. She loves you, Marcel. She wants to be able to be vulnerable. So that woman that you see at home is still that woman who has that grace to walk like she's on top of the world. Because quite frankly, when I see Tisha out here on social media, if I only saw her on social media, I would think she was on top of the world. I would not know what was going on behind closed doors if it were not for the show Love and Marriage Huntsville. But she has a right to do that, Marceau. She has a right to put her guard down with you as her husband. She doesn't have to be on top of the world all the time with you. Sometimes she doesn't want to be on top of the world. She wants to rest from all of that. And she's supposed to feel that when she's with you. You're n- I am so annoyed with Marceau, you guys. I really am. I don't want their marriage. I'm not one of these people who's trying to say, "Oh, he's cheating, he has a baby here, he's a" none of that. I simply don't like the way he treats her. I said, but we're gonna see in the end, we're gonna see things are going to come full circle at the end of the show. This was really a great, great episode. It's a lot to unpack. I'm going through it quickly though, because I only watched it twice. Normally, for me to have good notes, I have to watch it 3 times, and, I only watched it twice. He's brainwashed her. He continues to blame Tisha. He is never supportive of her needs or her thought processes. He thinks that everyone is supposed to think like him. He keeps saying this statement, 15 years? We've been together 15 years, and if you don't know this by now, Marceau, people don't stay the same. If you're the same person you were 15 years ago, you got a problem. If you have not progressed in character or as a person within 15 years, so much that you're just that same person, you got a problem. Tisha is about progressing. That's why we see after her undergraduate, she had to go get 2 masters, and she's a realtor, which means she had to take the real estate test in addition to going to get the masters. She had to take the state test. Marceau, I'm done. I you know, Tisha goes in her confessional, she goes, you know, God ain't done with me yet. No, Tisha, Marceau ain't done with you yet. Marceau ain't done with you yet, Tisha. And you know what I was thinking? Because Tisha was sitting there crying. I love Tisha. Okay. Regardless of what I say on here about, some of the words she uses sometimes, I think she has really gotten better. She has become better with the different pronunciations of words. I believe that some of the pronunciations and the phonetics really have to do with her upbringing and how the language was in her household. And we've all seen Wanda. We've all heard Wanda. Wanda could care less about a phonetic. you know, I digress on that one. But my thought was as I was sitting there and I was watching her cry, you guys, my heart melted. It really, really did because she loves her husband, she loves her family. She's only asking for him to join in with them to do things, and he's trying to tell her she needs to wait till he gets everything else done. No, Marcel, you do it now. We see what this pandemic has done to everyone. You need to make time now. The other thought process that I had was they have a son who just graduated. He's getting ready to go to high school. He and two of his other cousins, that's what they gave that whole should do at Black, the graduation party. So this son is now about 14 years old. He I'm sure he sees the show. So he is going to see Tisha crying. His mother, he's gonna see what his father is doing to his mother. It it's history now. It's on television now. I'm beginning to wonder if some of these trolls on here even watch this show. I'm really beginning to wonder if you people even watch this show or, it's interesting. It's just interesting some of the things I see. Um, she gave into it, you guys. Then she starts to talk to Marceau about the recommitment. Because recall in the last episode, she shared that with the ladies on Girls' Night Out. And that's when Tiffany shared with her that she should tell Marceau some part of it, of the recommitment, instead of just surprising him and throwing it on him. And then, Tiffany went into her scene of telling her about the insecure comment. On this episode, Tisha and Marceau, during their pillow talk, Tisha brings it up just to gauge his thoughts on it. And he keeps saying he only wants to do it privately. You guys, the reason people get married, the reason we get married is because we want witnesses there. We want people to hear us profess our love to one another in matrimony. So, what does he mean he wants a private ceremony? I myself, you guys, I'm really beginning to wonder about Marceau. I really am. Does he have some chick on the side? And he's doing all this on TV because he's probably telling the other chick, you know, whatever he's telling her about his wife. And then, so if he on air exposes his love for his wife, the other chick is going to be upset. I'm beginning to really wonder. I don't want that to be the case. I don't, like I said earlier, but he is very suspect. He's very suspect. Next, they go to Tiffany and Lewis. They really showed Tiffany and Lewis too many times this episode. I would have rather had seen Maurice and Kimmy, but maybe they didn't have a story to tell. So Tisha comes into the room where Tiffany and Lewis are still having their conversation, and she tells Tiff, last night I felt like the timing was just off because I was trying to have a positive moment, my 15-year anniversary, and then you started telling me all this other stuff. Um, so they kind of say, they're good, for now they're good. And Tisha tells them that she has talked to Marsau and Marsau really doesn't want to do the recommitment of their vows. So Tiffany and Lewis start telling her, oh, do it anyway. Oh, do it anyway. Why are you involved in this woman's marriage? You don't even know her. I am so ready for those two to be gone. I'm so ready for them to be gone. Why are they so involved in Tisha and Marsau's marriage? That's like me meeting a stranger on the street who is sharing something with me and giving them advice about their marriage. I am so I'm so done with Tiffany and Lewis. They can just not come back. So the next scene is it's their last night in Vegas. So they're all aboard the limousine bus. That's what I'll call it because I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it. And Destiny is again thinking that Kimmy and Maurice want her. They show Destiny in her confessional, and she makes some comment about Kimmy and Maurice wanting her. What is wrong with Destiny? Destiny, everybody don't want you, honey. People are making comments very innocently, and you're thinking that they want to get with you. That's weird. Am I the only one? That's really weird to me. Mel asked Marsau, where are we going tonight? And Marsau goes, ask my assistant. He was referring to Tisha. He calls his wife his assistant. Ask my assistant. Dude, between you and Martell, I just feel like telling all women stay away from the men in Alabama. Between what I'm seeing between Marsau and Martell, I I would advise women don't go to Alabama to find a husband. You don't want no Alabama grown man calling his wife his assistant. Oh my goodness, miss me with that. So there Kimmy goes again because they're talking about the wedding chapel. They're like, what? A wedding chapel? Blah, blah, blah. Kimmy's like, maybe it's, Team Holt. Kimmy, this is the second time during this season that you've mentioned that. Get off of it. You and Maurice go somewhere and create your story. Keep on bringing Kiowa in, okay? Kiowa and her husband. Keep doing that because this thing, Team Holt, why would you want this young woman to get back with Martell? You're not a real friend if you are advising Melody to get back with Martell. So just like I said, Melody is not Destiny's friend. I think the friendship is just very discombobulated over there in Huntsville. They get inside the chapel. I'm not going to stay long with this chapel because I was just so annoyed with Marceau. I really was. I was so annoyed with this man. I could not take it. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I'm just going to go over the highlights of what happened in the chapel. Bottom line is, Marceau refused to commit his love to Tisha in the presence of their friends. Let's sip on that for a while. And then at one point, they were overtly encouraging their friends to recommit to each other. Now, granted, you have one friend, Destiny, who doesn't have a partner, so she can't recommit. You have Mel and Martell who are divorced, and Mel is definitely not interested in recommitting. Although Martell probably would have done so if Mel had given him the cue. Don't do it, Mel. Then you have Kimmy and Maurice, who have only been married for about what, 2 years? And then you have Tiff and Lewis, who've been married, they said, just a few months. Yet you and your husband have been married 15 years. You are there to celebrate your 15th wedding anniversary, and you want everyone else to commit. Tisha, don't be A backwards, okay? I'm not cursing. You know what the A stands for, right? She is being A backwards. Don't do it, Tisha. This is just how brainwashed Marceau has Tisha. That she is literally standing there encouraging other people at an event that she set up. She's encouraging other people to renew their wedding vows. And it's her anniversary. It don't get no more discombobulated than that. And Martell's confessional, I thought it was funny. You know, I can't remember what he said, but he had a confessional. Uh, and then Mel says, "You done let another whole couple come up in here and take over something your wife planned because, as we see, Lewis and Tiffany with their little hot AWSs have to go and say something to each other in a vow moment. I'm just done with them. Whatever. Now let's move on to the dinner. Oh no, let me go back here. Mark, did you hear Marceau? They were trying so hard to convince the other couples to to give a renewal or to say something about their love that Marceau said to them, he said, and it can be a commitment to anything. It can be a commitment to anything. But now, you guys, we get to the part that really, really surprised everyone. They're at the dinner. The ladies are really dressed beautifully. Tisha with her, I don't know if that was a peach outfit. Tisha is really doing it. Her look this season is elegant. It's beautiful. It's phenomenal. She chose all the right colors. Her complexion is amazing. Her hair is beautiful. Tisha just really, I love her this season. I really do. She's gorgeous. And her style, her fashion, she's just doing everything right. She's really feeling herself these days, you know? She's really feeling herself and she should. Okay? So she looked really great. Mel looked beautiful in her long black dress with those heels and her hair. Her hair was amazing. Destiny in the white, just gorgeous. Destiny has beautiful skin. Um, and even Kimmy, normally I don't like Kimmy's fashions. I'm like, what, girl? Okay, but Kimmy looked really good. She looked really good this episode. The only one who who looked like they got off the Kmart bus was Tiffany. She had this blue and yellow flowery skirt and this white top, and I was like, "Okay, is that Goodwill?" I mean, I could have sworn that I still have a blue and yellow skirt, but I had another one as well, and I know I gave it to Goodwill, and I think Tiffany was wearing it. I tell you know, then Kimmy goes, to think about it, we celebrated your anniversary, your 10-year anniversary, and and then Maurice goes, and you guys were at our wedding in Florida, or in Miami. They were just, reminiscing like that because they know each other. They're real friends. Lewis and Tiffany are bystanders, okay, at this dinner. And Melody says, "Well, unfortunately, we won't be able to keep that going with the Holts." And Martell immediately jumped in and said, "Oh no, we're gonna be celebrating something on down the line." So Martell is looking forward to being married again to someone. And Mel in her confessional says she's looking forward to him moving on because he said at that dinner table, who knows, it might even be Mel. Notice how cavalier he always says that about Mel. He's so cavalier about Mel. Sorry, guys, I had to kick somebody out who comes in all the time, and I'm not real sure about them. A lot of and I'm pausing to say this. I'm about to end this review. I just wanted to pause and say sometimes some of the people come in here and they make comments about these shows that are not coherent with what's happening on the show. And I've noticed the timing of the comment is normally when I've said something. Like I'll say something, then they will write something in the um, in the chat that is doesn't make any sense. And this person's been doing that for a while, which lets me know they probably do not watch this show. They just come here for another reason and they hear what I have to say. And then soon as I say it, they put it in the chat, which means they don't know what's going on with these shows. They have no idea. And so I listen, I really want to monetize this channel. It appears it's not going to happen. Google is not going to allow it to happen. And I'm going to handle that because that's unfair for them to do that to me. They think it's all right. It's not all right. And I have a total, you guys. I digress. I digress. I'll do that shortly here. But I want to move forward with Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think that Mel needs to limit her time with Martell, you guys, and I'll tell you why. Last season, and I have a video up and the title of it is Melody Holt Needs a Restraining Order Against Martell. I did that video because I paid close attention to Martell's pathology last season. Martell has a pathology and it goes around and round and round and round, and then it gets to a point where it increases. And he is really upset about this divorce more than we even know. He's upset about it. Not that Mel is not. I'm sure she is. At the same time, Mel made the right decision. She needs to move on. He never would have stopped cheating. And if she were to go back with him the way Kimmy keeps wanting it to happen, he would cheat again. He would do it again because his pathology is he wanted to keep cheating. And if she comes back, his pathology is, well, she was with me that long and I cheated. And now I cheated. She divorced me and she came back knowing I cheated. And he will do it again based on that pathology. So Mel needs to limit her time with Martell. I wouldn't have even a dinner with him without a therapist present. When you get ready to get with Martell, you need to have a therapist on call and have the therapist be on call for free because you bringing them onto the show with the ratings this show is getting, they'll get enough money off of that. I'm I know people say I'm going overboard. My husband thinks I'm being a little bit overboard as well. When I say this, I'm scared for Melody. I'm scared for Melody. I don't think that she knew wholeheartedly what she was in for when she married Martell, because love blinds us to certain realities. And whenever people start revealing themselves, like he revealed himself through the cheating process, that's when we start to know who they are. And Melody needs to be real careful, because what's happened is, last year and we know Melody's not that kind of woman. He called her, the W word. And he also kept what I saw on the show as showing up or unexpectedly, or doing unexpected things. Like when he tried to open her car door after she had left the office upset, got in her vehicle. He did that twice on that episode last year. That bothered me, because had she not had that door locked, I mean, I'm concerned, because what he does is he is now, we will see in the next episode, like now he's using the marriage part. Like on this episode, a couple of times he mentioned possibly remarrying Mel, right? So right now he's toying with her. He's trying to see how far she's going to let him in. And he knows she loved him. So he's like, it could be Mel. We may get married again. So he is saying those things because he wants to see if there's even a little bit of an opening, right? And if there is, he's going to take it. And you guys, maybe I watched too much Dateline. Maybe I watched too much 48 Hours. Maybe I watched too much. What's that other show about for him? Something for him on one of those shows. I don't watch them anymore because they're kind of depressing. But last year I watched a lot of them. For him only, or something like that, on one of these shows. And listen, people's psyche is real, and you need to pay attention to when they're trying to manipulate you, because that's what he's doing when he is talking about trying to get back with Mel in these past few episodes. He's trying to manipulate her mind. And we will see next episode, because it seems like that's not going to work. So his next move is now he wants 100% custody of the children, because Mel's gone all the time. So his pathology is to look for a way back in so that he can do what he's going to do. And I know Martell seems nice, has a cute smile, beautiful legs. A lot of women like him. He's a handsome man. Um, he's built real good, young man. He is a hustler. He. But the pathology is bigger than all of that. And that's what I want to say on this review. And I want to move forward because Marsau reveals something that I've been thinking all along. He confronts Tiffany's husband, Louis. He confronts Louis. He says, "Look, I don't need to be hearing stuff from my wife that I communicated with y'all." And he and Louis have back and forth dialogue about that. And Louis is saying, Louis doesn't even know how to go by the bro code. Okay, there is a bro code, Louis. Whenever you and the fellas are having a discussion about anything, even if you share that with your wife during pillow talk, the bro code is you should tell her, look, don't you say nothing to Tish about this. Don't say anything to Tish about, because Tiffany, you're not friends enough with Tish to be sharing that information anyway. Now it would be different if Maurice shared something with Kimmy and then Kimmy went and told Tish. That would be different because they have a history. You don't know that woman to be going back and you should have just sat there, been silent, and just watch things unfold. But no, you got to get in everybody else's business. Girl, I want you so off the show for real. You are annoying. I mean, really, you're not even likable, Tiffany. You're not likable. You have no elegance, no class. You just go right in and get in everybody else's business. You ruin birthday parties. You don't take responsibility for nothing, even with what you did regarding Monster. I'm going to call him Maurice Jr. With what you did with Maurice Jr. You apologized, but then you went back on your apology, really, because you started showing some regret that you had apologized, saying that you didn't like how Maurice came up to you. Girl, miss me with your BS. Miss me with your BS. Go back to the chamber and keep shopping at Kmart and just don't come back on Love in Huntsville. They need a better couple than you and Lewis, for real. I mean, can they not go to what are some other places in Alabama? Is there not somebody they can move into Huntsville or something? I don't know, girl. But anyway, Marceau brings this up, and he and Lewis finally, they hash it out and agree on something. I don't know what it was they agreed on. Okay. But then the question of happiness and depression play into this dinner as well. And I can't recall who asked the question or how it came about, but I do recall that Mel said, when I think about happiness, I have to think of how detrimental depression is. That's that academic coming out of Mel right there. She said, when I think about happiness, I have to think of how detrimental depression is. That's academia, that kind of thinking, right? I love I love when she said that. I cannot remember how they came up with that conversation, but someone asked the couples about happiness or something like that. So Lewis starts talking in his confessional and he says mental health hasn't been spoken of in the Black community. I disagree, Lewis. I disagree because it has been spoken of in the Black community. It has. And you have a lot of Black therapists, Black psychologists, and you have a lot of us, including me, who have experienced therapy. So it has been talked about in the Black community. I don't know why people keep saying that. It's been talked about in the Black community, you guys, since the late 90s. People started talking about it. Now, the fact that there are Black people within the community who don't get it, that's another side. There's a need for it for people who don't get it, and sometimes that's affordability. These therapists are like an attorney. I'm telling you, they charge $200 an hour, hands down. The only time you're going to pay under that is if you have good insurance, and then you don't get but about 5 or 6 visits. You can't go to them for 6 months the way some people need to and pay $200 an hour. And let me tell you, sometimes you need more than an hour. You walk out of there when the hour is done and you're like, well, damn, I need a drink, you know? So, anyway, this is what was revealed in this episode that I want to get to, and then I'll go ahead and end. But Marceau says that happiness is secondary to commitment for him. When they ask him about happiness, he doesn't really put a lot of stock in happiness. He said over the last year, he's been more depressed than anything. And he said he just doesn't like the term happiness. And you guys, he starts to talk a little bit about his story. He opens up to them a little bit, and that grasps their attention. They, including Martell, all of them all eyes are on Marceau at that moment. And my heart broke because I knew it. I said, most of the time, when you have people who, men especially, males especially, when they're very controlling, they are depressed. They are depressed. They don't know how to call a thing a thing. And I have been thinking about this all along about him and the way he treats Tisha. And whenever Tisha took him to that surprise therapist visit, the first thing out of my mind was, he really needs this more than she does, and he doesn't even know it because he has so many walls up. This dinner right here lets all of us know Marceau does need therapy. It doesn't mean he needs medication. Okay, that would be psychiatry. Okay, but it does mean that he needs to iron out some things and allow some other ideas to enter into his process and the way he thinks, because he has shut out so many ideas that he thinks that his ideas are the only ones that count. And that is the negative in his relationship with his wife. And that is why when she's speaking and expressing her feelings, he's only concerned with what he's thinking and feeling. He's not even taking in the reality of what's happening to her. So this dinner right here staples the fact that he needs therapy. And in order to get therapy, he's going to have to go in with a complete open mind. And I'm going to tell you, the doctor they went to the first time, that's the one they need to go back to, because that man is on point. He's on point. Honey, if I was wealthy enough, I'd travel with him as my therapist. He could just like be with me all the time. I love him. He's like the best therapist on television that I've ever seen. And we've seen a lot of black therapists on television. He is the best. He's not afraid to go in and let them know what it is. He calls a thing a thing. I liken him to Ayanla, even though I don't like all of Ayanla's practices, right? I like her ideas and I like her process and I like her fearlessness. And that's what he is. Because there was another therapist on another one. Was it the Braxtons, the lady who used to come in all the time? And she seemed to be catering to the TV a lot. I don't like that. Forget the cameras are there and let's just do the dang thing, right? So we'll end on that note, guys. I thank you so much for showing up tonight and listening to me about love and marriage Huntsville. And if you have some comments, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. I wanted to see you guys doing some things in the comments because I wanted to bring some people on and I wanted us to talk about Mel and Destiny's relationship because Mel does not like Destiny. She doesn't. I love you, Mel. I love you. You don't like Destiny. I don't know why, but there's an issue there. You and her are not as best friends as you think you are. And, Tisha and Marceau brainwashing Tisha and, you know, Melody needing to really watch her relationship and limit her connection with Martell, even on the show. Next season, I need to see Melody and Martell doing their own thing separately. I don't think you should bring chitlins in. I know you guys call her coleslaw. I call her chitlins. The side piece. I'm not gonna say her name. She's an adulteress, so she's chitlins, not coleslaw. I like coleslaw. I don't like chitlins, okay? So she's chitlins. I do not agree with bringing her in on any season. I do agree with maybe having Martell go ahead, date around, you know, take some girl to Vegas and get in one of those Stingray cars and drive or something like that, and having Mel date, you know, outside the house of the children, because it's still too soon to bring another man around your kids, in my humble opinion. Um, so, and I want to see Tiffany and Lewis gone. Mel, you need to find a different friend, someone you went to college with, that you ain't talked to in a long time, who can do things better than Tiffany. Tiffany has no class. She lacks elegance, and she has no storyline. She has come on and she's gotten into everybody else's business. And that's not what we want to see on reality TV. We want to see some authenticity about you. And then you can get into everybody else's business. But until then, we need to see who you are. And that's my take on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Okay, season 3, episode 11. Thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you. Many blessings to you. Have a good night.